Your hand is in the bag again. You told yourself it would be the last one, just one more. But the bag is already half empty. And you're not even hungry. You weren't hungry when you started. The chips weren't dinner. They weren't even a snack. They were just something to do while you scrolled through your phone. A sound to fill the quiet. A taste to keep your mouth busy. But now you can't stop. You tell yourself you have no willpower, that you're weak, that if you just tried harder, you could put the bag down and walk away. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain isn't broken, it's not lazy, and it's definitely not weak. Your brain is running software that's over 2 million years old. Software written by ancestors who never saw a chip bag, or a TV, or a couch. They saw open plains, they saw danger, they saw food that could run away or rot before they could eat it. And in that world, the foods that kept you alive were the ones that gave you the most reward for the least effort. Food scientists call this the bliss point. Your ancestors just called it dinner. Think about it. A potato in the ground is hard, starchy, dense. It takes work to chew. It takes work to digest. It fills your stomach slowly and tells your brain, okay, we're full, long before you've eaten too much. A chip is none of those things. A chip is a potato transformed. Processed, fried, salted, engineered, all the water removed, all the fiber destroyed, all the calories packed into a tiny, crispy rectangle that dissolves in your mouth before your brain even knows you ate it. And that crunch is not an accident. Dr. Charles Spence at Oxford has spent years studying how sound changes the way we eat. He found that the crunch of a chip, the crackle, the snap, actually changes how fresh you think it tastes. A louder crunch means fresher. Fresher means better. Better means you eat more. But it goes deeper than sound. In one of his studies, people ate identical chips, but some heard amplified crunching through headphones. Those people rated the chips as significantly better. Same chip, same taste, different sound, different experience. The crunch is a signal that hits your brain's reward system and says, keep going. Dr. Stephan Guyenet, who studies food and the brain, puts it this way. Our brains evolved to seek out calorie-rich foods because they were rare and valuable. Every time you bit into something fatty or salty, your brain released dopamine, the do that again chemical. But the chips today aren't the fatty foods of the ancient world. The ancient world had nuts. It had animal fat. It had roots that took hours to dig up and chew. The chip bag has all of that, and none of it. All the calories, none of the work. All the reward, none of the stop signal. Dr. David Kessler, who used to run the FDA, calls foods like chips hyperpalatable. They're designed to hit a perfect mix of fat, salt, and texture that triggers dopamine faster and stronger than anything found in nature. And the modern chip is the king of this. It's salty, it's fatty, it's crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. It melts in your mouth in seconds. It makes a sound that tells your ancient brain, this is fresh, keep going. All of this is on purpose. All of this is designed, and all of this is working, but there's another layer, a psychological one. Dr. Brian Wansink from Cornell did a famous study with soup bowls. He gave people bowls that refilled themselves from the bottom. They ate 73% more soup than people with normal bowls, and they felt just as full. They had no idea they ate more. They just kept going because the soup level never dropped. The same thing happens with chips. You don't see the bag getting empty. You're not counting. You're just crunching and reaching and crunching again. The bag hides the truth. Researchers found that people eat more chips from a large bag than a small bag. Same chips, same hunger, different bag. Your brain uses visual cues to decide when you're full, and those cues are being played. Dr. Wansink called this mindless eating. You're not eating because you're hungry. You're eating because the bag is there, because the crunch feels good, because your hand reaches before your brain says stop. And by the time your brain catches up, the bag is empty. But wait, there's even more. Dr. Marion Nestle has studied the food industry for decades. She found that the most profitable foods are the ones you can't stop eating. Cheap to make, hard to spoil, designed to make you crave more. The chip is the perfect product. It costs almost nothing to make. It never goes bad. It's designed to keep you reaching. And it's everywhere, in commercials, in the snack aisle, at the gas station, in your pantry. You're not just eating chips, you're being fed chips. By an industry that knows exactly how your brain works. And exactly how to use it. Think about the last time you ate chips. Were you actually hungry? Or were you bored? Stressed? Watching something? Scrolling? Chances are you weren't hungry. You were just doing something. And that's the point. Chips are the perfect doing something food. No plate, no fork, no pause. You can eat them while driving, typing, watching, scrolling. Food for a distracted mind. And a distracted mind doesn't know when to stop. But here's the strange part. You think the problem is the chip, but the problem isn't the chip. It's the bag, the setting, the environment. If you pour chips into a small bowl, you eat less. If you put them in a high cabinet, you eat less. If you use a spoon instead of reaching in with your hand, you eat less. It's not about willpower, it's about design. You are an ancient animal with a brain built for a world that no longer exists. Your brain is doing exactly what it was made to do. It's looking for calories, looking for reward, looking for the thing that kept your ancestors alive. But your world has changed, and your brain hasn't caught up. So what do? You can't rewire your brain. You can't argue with millions of years of evolution, but you can change what's around you. You can pour the chips into a bowl. You can close the bag between handfuls. You can put the bag somewhere that takes effort to reach. Because your brain isn't the enemy, it's just old. And old things need to be worked with, not fought. Tomorrow, when your hand reaches for the chips, you'll know why. You'll hear the crunch and know it's a signal, an ancient signal your ancestors would have killed for. But you'll also know that you're not your ancestors. You're the latest chapter in a very long story, and you get to write the next page. You can choose to hear that crunch differently, not as a command, but as a memory, a whisper from a world that no longer exists, a world where food was scarce and danger was everywhere. But that world is gone, and you are still here. You are not a slave to the crunch. You're just the one who finally understands it, and understanding changes everything. The next time your hand reaches for the bag, pause. Just for a second. Listen to the crunch. Notice it, smile at it, and then decide. Because the bag doesn't control you. The crunch doesn't control you. The industry doesn't control you. You control you. You always have. You just didn't know it until now.